Didn't see you there. Well, ladies and gents, welcome back to the TJR Auto channel. My name is Tyler. If you don't know by now, now you know. If you guys saw the last couple episodes, I believe I've made 3 so far. Not 1, not 2, but 3. I have made 3 episodes thus far on the 2004 wrecked, totaled, destroyed, piece of shit, broken, whatever you want to call it, GTO. Now, we left off with this situation. Yanked the motor, yanked the trans, 2 buddies. Shout out to Mike, shout out to Alex at Webkey Racing. Now, we got some more work to do, as you can probably imagine. First things first, I should probably move this, because I could barely be birthed from under Gemma. I could barely make it out of there. It's a little tight, this puppy in the way, so let's make some room. All right, move the hoist, and I grabbed a beer, because that's a necessity when you're doing something like this. So, back to this point. Right, now I'm gonna flip you around, and without me saying anything, I just want you to see what you think I might do or talk or say next. Well, if you thought I was going to say this is an absolute mess, you would be correct. So, the goal this weekend, today is Friday, so hopefully this weekend and into this upcoming week, so if you understood my my little language right there, I want this front end off for this week so I can do all the preparations, and maybe next weekend I can get the black front end on it or close to being on, right? Trying to do this in a timely manner. So, shout out to my boy Mike. He's always such a big help. He watches all my videos. So Mike, maybe I can draw a heart. I can finish that and draw a heart. That's for you, brother. So, Mike's coming over tomorrow to lend me a hand, and amongst all the other shit that still needs to get done with oh my god, I almost threw up. Amongst everything else that has to get done, I need to start stripping the rest of this shit out of the way, so that when my buddy Mike comes tomorrow, and maybe even Sunday if he really feels generous, we can start slaving away at getting these spot welds drilled out and this front frame rail cracked off. Now, as you can just see by looking, there's a lot of stuff in the way. I probably won't explain half of it just because either I already showed this on the black car or it's really not fun and I'm kind of just gonna pluck away at it. So yeah, if there's anything fun, I'll make sure to grab you out of the time lapse, you know, say, hey you. Alright, aside from the fact that I'm just making more of a mess than I have before, we're getting places. It might have been hard to see in the last time lapse. I had you hung from my garage door, so maybe if the shot was cool, maybe I can figure out a way to make that work. But basically got everything out of the way over here, minus the ABS, because I really don't want to touch the brake lines. These little nuts on the black car were not forgiving whatsoever. They wanted to strip out almost instantly. So I don't want to pull them, but I might be able to just work around the brake lines. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But heater core lines, those are out. Those fought me like a mother. Here's the AC lines. I actually stripped out one of these screws, so I can't pull this block out. I will get that out. Just I'm not worried about it right now. So we're just gonna leave that there. I might tape those holes off. There's O-rings back that need to be changed, so that needs to come off one way or another. Like I said, heater core lines, and then got everything out from over here. We have the PCM and the entire engine harness dangled that way, and then over here we have the whole BCM harness. Because the fun part about GTOs is you cannot unplug the harnesses from the bay. They run through the firewall, and that's it. That's it. They actually make them through the firewall when they built the cars. So the only way to get it out is to either cut the car or cut the harness. If you saw me tearing apart the black car when I first got it and I pulled the harness out, I said the same exact thing. It's either you cut the car or you cut the harness. And I'm not doing either on this car. There's no reason to. So to the best of my abilities, I will be trying to take care of the harnesses and trying not to stress them too much by twisting them. But I'm going to try to move them out of the way as much as I can so that they're safely out of the way. I don't hurt them and have to go on about fixing and all that shit, because there's a lot of wires and that shit gets tedious when you start playing with that. Especially same with the PCM. So those will definitely be well protected when, you know, all the cutting, grinding, welding, all that stuff's going on. But for now, they're fine just dangling there. So everything's basically just out of the way. I also had to pop out this nut and bolt, which this guy is bent like a mother. I think this actually hits the header right there. So I'm going to look up and see if anybody has any remedies to that so I don't have to deal with that, or if this is just too long and I got to cut it down. Or, I mean, if I bought a new one, I would cut this, you know, I'd buy a new one and cut it down so it's not crooked. But so that's that. Took a little persuasion to get this thing off. So this is off, and the steering wheel is locked, I think, straight. So hopefully that's straight, because that'll actually make it beautiful to line up with the new rack. So that's good. Clutch line is still just kind of floating around. I put it wherever I don't need it, and I'm probably going to put a vacuum cap over it just to prevent any debris getting in and more shit coming out. So that's that, and I'll probably just loop that over the side of the car. But now basically all we have left is brakes and these lovely ABS sensors. And you can see I definitely didn't have an ABS code on the dash. I definitely didn't have an ABS code. I'm just kidding. I had every ABS code that you possibly could, and this is why. So obviously those will be getting changed out as well, so I might just cut them to make it easy to pull it off. But yeah. Now you may be wondering, Tyler, what else is there to do on this car? Whatever's left of this car. Well, ladies and gents, boys and girls, we have a couple things actually. Really, the next steps is going to be cleaning up and organizing all the parts and bolts I just pulled off. Maybe trying to find a better solution for all the wires kind of just flopped over the way, because they are in the way of the wheels, and the wheels are going to have to come off at some point. But really, the next big things, besides, again, cleanup and organization, is going to be spot welds. Yes, my favorite thing in the world. The 5 million spot welds that hold these front frame rails together to the tubs, I gotta go. So that's actually going to be tomorrow's plan, which will be this video. But you will see me with Mike, my boy Mike. I love you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, so that's what we're going to be taking care of tomorrow, is all the spot welds and trying to get this thing split. I want to see this car with nothing under the front end this weekend, which will be awesome. Awesome. All right. So we're going to see how much we can do this weekend. Hopefully things go well. If I can get the front end off this weekend, that means during this week I can continue to collect my supplies. I think I got a bunch of parts coming in tomorrow for the motor. But yeah, I gotta get some goodies and stuff that you don't need to know about. Well, you're gonna see them eventually, but I ain't gotta tell you now. So yeah, it's gonna be spot weld central, and it's funny because I already know how long they're gonna take, and it's not even gonna be much of this video. It's kind of sad, but hey, that's the magic of YouTube, is you guys get to watch the content. I have to suffer making the content. It's a pretty good exchange, honestly, if you ask me. So I'm gonna clean up. I need to drink a couple more beers, and yeah, I'm probably just gonna sit in the engine bay for like an hour, just ponder,
think a little bit. Maybe go inside, play with the puppies. Puppies need love, right? So maybe I'll go do that.
Well, ladies and gents, it is now Saturday, which means I have my boy Mike here. I don't even think it's 10 o'clock yet, and he's drinking coffee and beer, so you know it's going to be a good day.
Yep.
So, what we're thinking is we somehow need to figure out the best option for disconnecting the front brake lines, whether we hang the calipers up in the up in the wheel well and leave them during this whole project so I don't have to touch the brake system, or if we disconnect the lines and hope to God that they don't strip or break. Well, I don't know, we're going to do that in a couple. But what we think we're going to do is, while the car's up on ramps, pull out the 4 main bolts for the subframe to frame rails, and then from there, you jack the car up from the subframe, so the subframe can't move anywhere. Pull the ramps and pull the jack stands, put the car so the wheels are back on the ground, and then pop the top 2 nuts for the struts. And then theoretically, if we were to use the engine hoist, chain up to the front frame rails, lift the car up, we should be able to wheel the subframe out with the wheels under it, and that should work. Maybe.
We'll see.
We're gonna find out. You have any last words before we potentially cause mayhem?
Day to K.
All right, guys, it probably didn't look too sketchy on the time lapse, but that started off with the good idea, and then it got really sketchy, and then it actually ended up going fine. But here we have the twisted K member out, and it might not even be crazy bent. You can actually see this bottom bar here is definitely tweaked, but it looks like these holes are just really rounded out compared to that side. I don't think that's normal. I know these have a little bit of adjustability to them for alignment, but that looks off to me. But we were able to safely get this out, have the wheels and the brakes over there, or the rotors over there, and then to prevent me from having to bleed the brakes, we just tied up the brakes with the lines. No, these are not super tight, they're fine. We will have to pop this bracket and probably move the line one way or another to get to some of the spot welds back here, but we'll deal with that when we get there. So right now, we got jack stands under the body of the car at a safe spot underneath, and what me and Mike just discussed is he's gonna cut off everything we don't need, and we're probably going to remove these yellow frame rails in sections. And Mike actually found that I didn't. Both sides are rotted out. So
twins Basil.
Yeah, so we're going to see, I don't know, we're going to see, but we're probably going to cut most of this car apart to get the black car in. Might not look that different, but we are at the point now of finding and drilling the spot welds out. So I think we're gonna do, since these frame rails are just shot, they're not usable, not worth saving. I think what we might do is do this in sections. So now that we're up to here and it's freed, we might cut this section off so this is out of the way. We know we're good here. We can worry about the rest of that later. And we're probably gonna do the same here and kind of just section our way back. Our biggest fight is going to definitely be back here, because we still got to pull the black car out and see where they're joined together to confirm how many spot welds we need to actually drill. So, but it's just about lunchtime. I got to feed my slave. It's the least I can do.
Yep.
come off. You have a little corner catching you. Just wiggle it, bro. Why are you beating it so hard? Nice, look at that. You know how long that would have taken me to do that?
Get this on video.
Look at that. Yeah, it's lunchtime. Okay, I have filmed this outro 3 times now because I just keep rambling. So I'm going to keep it short, simple, and sweet. This is the end of the video. As you guys could assume, this is where we're stopping it. The last clip you guys saw, Mike cut off the bad sections of the frame rail. So now we're basically left with the rear mounts on the front subframe and maybe about a foot of frame rail in front of that, but the frame rail in front of that is kinked, so it's not really usable. So I need to do some thinking, and I have some ideas, but I need to do some more thinking before I solidify how I want to actually splice the frame rails together on this car. But we're getting very close. We have made very good progress, and I'm super stoked on how this is coming out. And to most people, especially my mother, you look at this and you say, well, shit. It looks like Tyler's working in reverse right now. Well, sometimes you got to take a couple steps back to move forwards. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I should be a motivational speaker. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I'm all over the place. But anyways, this is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys, as always, for watching, being so supportive. I love all of you. So make sure to subscribe if you guys want to see the next video. Again, I should be posting every week or just about. And in the next video, we might be doing the front end. We might be refreshing the motor. I might get a transmission. I don't really know. I don't know what's going to happen in a week's span. That's a lot of time. It really isn't, but it kind of is. So make sure to stay tuned if you guys want to see what's going to go down next on the GOAT. I really miss driving this thing. I really miss pulling up to red lights. You know, it's if you've got a cammed car and the thing's got some nuts, so you can kind of talk, you know, you can kind of run your mouth, talk shit to people. It's pretty nice. So I miss good old Gemma. So I want her back ASAP, and that means I need to bust down and start grinding. Know what I'm saying? Okay. So I hate myself. Anyways, I'm gonna keep it short. I'm only at 2 minutes on this outro. I was at like 8 minutes on the other one. So, my mother's home. Perfect timing. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more content. Make sure to drop a like if you liked the video. And there's my mother. There she is. And make sure to drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Anything different you would do. What you guys want to see. What you guys don't like. If I've messed anything up. All that stuff. So, as always, thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you in the next one.